Well, it's such a nice day, we thought we'd come around and have a look at your lots. Interested in your bloodlines and how long you've been flying and stuff like that. So.
I appreciate that. It's nice to get somebody interested in taking a bit of interest in the birds and get a few photographs and a bit of a video going. Well, mainly the pigeons that I had over the year, over the years since I've been raising here since 1965, they stem from Claudie Woodford brooders, and then later on from John Hartley Thomas from Undermine, then again a few from Neville Parrish from Winterthur in Sydney. And those three families of pigeons, I sort of blended them together, and they still working for me. They've been phenomenal pigeons as far as that's concerned, because all the races that I've won, you can say, or most of the races I've won with those pigeons, they are from that family. That's three different families of pigeons.
You've been doing all right at the club.
And they've been my pigeons that's been doing the work for me, all right, in the new breeds of pigeons that's coming in over the years, and I've got a few from here and a few from there and that sort of thing. And there's a few that's not quite properly tried yet by me, but I'd say in time to come, you'll possibly sort out the good from the bad out of them.
So can we go inside and have a look?
Yeah,
by all means. Handle a couple?
By all means, yeah.
You can explain what they are?
Would you like to go see the race birds first, or to the stock birds?
We'll go to the race birds first.
All right, we'll go to the race birds then. Let me make the light. I've got this particular hen here, it's a reference day bird. It's the only one that I've put on the road this year. She was instrumental in the third place for me from the sponsors race this year. She is it's a nice type of a pigeon. The only other bird here I've got that's part of the reference day blood I've got is a red cock and a red hen, which has been the winner of he was the winner of the sponsors race this year, and he was clocked in the following week for another place in the club. This red here, and that's the sister to her there, which is another half of the reference day bloodline. The little pigeon that I clocked a few weeks ago from Henry, which got me in second place in the north section fed, is this little checker hen here. Now this little pigeon is back to my original brooder bloodlines that I've had for all the years that I've been racing here. She's nothing much to look at as far as looks is concerned, but they've got tons of guts. They can fly all day. That's the little hen that I clocked in.
Certainly strong too.
Yeah.
Nice body.
And some of the other pigeons has been good to me is later imports, not so much imports, but later birds that are acquired from different sales, from fanciers from Melbourne. which carries a lot of reference pigeons from down there, which is a little here.
We have a look at him, Tom?
Yeah. He's a very consistent pigeon, this fellow. He hasn't done a great deal of being the clock, running places and that sort of thing is concerned, but they're very, very consistent pigeons, and I've only got sort of hopes for him to start performing a bit better. I've got a brother of him over there, then I've got a sister of him over there, then I've got another sister of him.
What bloodline is this, Tom?
That's a cross with me. I'll brew this with the
Brooder Grizzles.
yeah, well, the Brooder Grizzles with an import, or with a pigeon that I got from bought at the sale from Coaches. Yeah,
Nice pigeon too.
yeah. And when it goes to the older pigeons, like the 2-year-old birds, now this little hen has won for me last year on the southwest. The brother was equal clockbird from Wilcannia, which is to me Grudis again, with a cross of the hand scenes from going back to the Burton hand scenes. And I've got a nest pair of sisters, which is this one here, and there's a little blue hen sitting down there on the bottom. They're the pigeons that's still flying well for me.
This full of that.
Yeah.
Can we handle her?
This one here, yes, you can handle her. She's due to go this week. They just had a toss this morning. They just come back from the coast, from up the coast.
That's a nice body on that pigeon.
Very nice body, very nice handling.
Handled very well.
Now the ones that I've bred from Jeff birds, which stems back to his Inch bloodlines and also the Durian bloodlines, has been performing pretty well for me. There's a cock that I run early in the year. I've run a place with blue checker cock up in the corner there to the hen.
You won't get around to it. It's hard to see.
But here's a red cock. He's the pigeon that's done pretty well for me. This pigeon's dam is a hen that I acquired from a sale last year from Coaches, which goes back to the Inch's long distance bloodlines. And this pigeon's sister has won me a Tuncurry in the first series, and she was my clockbird from Goulburn. And a few weeks ago, another sister of hers was my clockbird from Kempsey. And this pigeon performed pretty well, and it's got another brother of him here, which is up there, and they flew this last weekend's hard race out from Tuncurry. 3-year-old.
Certainly feel well.
Yeah.
Conditions are good on them.
It's a 3-year-old hen that's been the mainstay, which goes back to the Inch bloodlines again. Here is my second bird from Bone in 1986. She was my clockbird from Wilcannia last year, which I run second to you with. And then she won me an Iluka earlier on in the year, and she was my clockbird again last week from that hard Tuncurry. So that's
this bird?
She's a 3-year-old. I've got to look for a suitable cock to put to her. There's a nice cock here, but might breed them. As a matter of fact, I bred a pair of late youngers off the last year, and not last year, the first year, 1986, when she finished flying. I raced a young cock of hers last year, which was my third pigeon from Broken Hill last year.
You get the distance out of it.
But they're a little bit long because I possibly had the wrong cocker. There is a good pigeon here, but he's a little bit lengthy, too lengthy for me in the body. If I can get something that can be a little bit shorter. He's sitting right behind me. Right, now this is a young cock that's flying for me. They've been flying for me this year. He's been in the flock a few times for a place in the club. Now his mother and father comes originally from Duggins. They were brought up for me from Duggins. Duggins from Melbourne. Now a sister of his, which was my second pigeon last Saturday from Curry, is a very, very nice hen, which I have earmarked for stock. If she fly one more race, then she'll probably go into stock. This she's due last Saturday. She was my second pigeon from Curry. Well, as a matter of fact, she was that close behind the first pigeon that, there was only a few minutes difference between them.
Well, that was a very hard race.
It was a hard race, yeah.
She certainly got a nice one.
Yeah. But,
oh well. And how are you young stuff?
Yeah, the young birds they've been on the wing now for the last 2-3 weeks, and they just started to attack the pigeons, and they're healthy and they're growing up pretty well. Little Mealy's looking up. That one there, it's what we commonly call here as the reference J bloodlines. Now that pigeon's sire comes from Kevi, and the dam was the pigeon I bought from Dennis Dwyer when he was still flying up here in Brisbane. It has the makings of a potentially reasonable race pigeon, I should imagine. It's the first year I have bred them that way, so it's a trial mating to find out what the birds can do. Now, going back to here, in the square here, that would be the nest mate to the little Mary, which is also the reference J bloodlines. Then we go up the top here, there's a little pigeon sitting up there. The sire is bred from pigeons that was sold at a sale from, what's his name, Bob Gilton from Sydney and Peter Pius. It's a first cross for me this year with their blood, with another little pigeon that I acquired at the sale last year from Les Coches. Now they look to be potentially racing birds, or the way they bred and the way they built, the construction of them looks like they could race pretty well.
They certainly look good, don't they?
But then, as I say, I've got not really a mixture of pigeons. I have most of the birds that I've bred here, they're all birds that's been crossed from one family to another family. There's some Putmans crossed with my Gruders, and then there's some Gruders kept in line, which is this little grizzle here, and this little grizzle here. They were bred for me by a friend of mine up at Toowoomba that has been racing for years, on and off, mainly with the bloodlines of mine. And then there's the Durian and Instuff again, which is this little bird here on the floor, this little checker. And this little light checker sitting up the front there, which is going to turn out to be a nice little pigeon.
Certainly looks class up.
The younger one of her younger sister is a little pigeon sitting up the top there. Just behind that pied there, but that pied particularly is across with the Putmans that comes up from Melbourne, plus the Algruda family of mine. So it's a bit early to tell whether they're going to do any good on the road to me next year, but I'm a hard taskmaster, and what I don't like, I don't keep, put it that way. And they've got to perform for me, otherwise I won't have them.
Where are your stock birds?
This is the first round of my youngsters that's now just taken the air. Well, we can move further on.
Out of the way.
The younger crop of youngsters, what they call them, in the second round of youngsters, as a matter of fact, they were just put through here this morning. Most of their brothers and sisters is in the first round. And they're a little bit young and they're a little bit ugly looking at this stage, but if they turn out like the first round of youngsters, well, you know, we could have a few here that might work for me on the road next year. That's about all I can say about them. We can move further into the little pied hen. Not raised, it's mainly purely bred for stock purposes.
It certainly looks nice.
Yeah, there's a few here. This is there's another reference, Jay. We've been bred here for stock purposes. This is another one. That's the one that Kev gave me. You have a pair of young'uns out of this hen and that cockbird. You've got a pair of young'uns from them. Well, I am just like you. I'm building up try and build up a family of these pigeons to try them out. Now, this is a hen. Roddy Watkins bought this at Nick Brent's sale here early in the year. Now he's go down on his catalogue as put down as the Highland blood. Well, from what I can understand, the Highland blood is the Brico bloodlines in them. Brico and Henstein. I have a blue bar cock on loan from Dave Grimmer, which has made it to this end. The first pair of young'uns is just in the nest. So we'll see what they go like. But the cock originally come from South Australia, from a fellow named was Bergenson from South Australia. We've had the Eitzen bloodlines down there, and there's a few of them going around Melbourne, flying in Melbourne at the moment.